So Adobe recently launched a beta version of Firefly, an AI art generator that enhances tools like Photoshop. Firefly allows users to create and edit videos, audio, images, brushes, and more. And to do all of this with a simple text prompt, which makes content creation faster and more efficient. And one of Firefly's most impressive features is its content-aware image generation. For example, just by typing, you can take something that has a lighthouse in it and say, hey, change that building into like an airport tower, whatever those airport tower things are, and then it's like, boom, got it. Or you have a photograph of a city and say, now it's an underwater city, and it just like adds the water on top of it and kind of like seals up all the windows and makes it look like it's kind of like degrading under the water. It's very cool. And it seems especially good at changing things like mood and weather. So you just say like, now give it a more dark and eerie feeling, and now make it bright and sunny, and it's just like do 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 do. Like they have a demo that shows this summer photograph and then it turns it into winter with actual falling snow. Microsoft Designer is a web app for making visual graphics, which now utilizes OpenAI's GPT-4 powered Copilot. It's available to Microsoft 365 subscribers, and it uses OpenAI's text-to-image model Dali 2 to generate unique images with just a text description. So it's meant to be used by people who want to do things like make signs, social media posts, and show-stopping lemonade stands. For AI-generated images, you just type what you want to see and you get the idea generated. And then pick a design and click the button Customize Design to make it your own. Also, you can upload your own images, so just take something with your smartphone, send it up to the cloud, and then utilize all of those awesome AI tools that are being integrated into Microsoft from OpenAI. I just got access to the new Microsoft Designer with artificial intelligence tools built in from OpenAI. I would like a flyer to hand out for my YouTube channel, Curious Future. I want it designed with a yellow and black theme around a beehive and have a cute bee in it. All right, my first generation. Okay, so I'm not disappointed, although I probably wouldn't use any of these. It realized that Curious Future is the YouTube channel, so that's what to put most prominently. It did find that kind of honeycomb vibe. All this honey in a circle, not sure what that's about. I think that out of these choices, this would be the one I'd most likely customize. Wait, is that bee animated? That bee's animated? Oh, I haven't seen that before. That doesn't seem like Dali or anything like that could customize a little bee in a window? Cool. That is unique. Well, I feel like I'm pretty much done. Cool animated bee in the window. It looks like it's playing with variations of that. I'm impressed. Sampson's Hush is a noise removal tool that you can use to take something like a podcast and try to remove either the hum, the reverb, maybe a honk, something that's in the background. Now, their audience is creatives who work with audio, so like voiceovers, podcasts, and audiobooks. So the machine learning model was trained on a bunch of crisp, clean audio, so that when you put in something that might be recorded in the real world and has some static or distortion, it should identify and remove things like a dog barking, or maybe a horn on a car outside, or just the general reverb in a room that makes it sound not so crisp. Now, I used it for the first time on the video that you're listening to right now. I record my audio on an external boom mic, and this is what it sounds like after it's been run through this process. Now, I already use Final Cut, and inside there's a tool called voice isolation, which I think does an equivalent job. So I would say there's already comparable tools on the market. There's nothing extraordinarily special about this, but I am personally going to keep using it only for one reason, and that's because it does support a 32-bit floating point output, which is something Final Cut can't do. And I will say it runs really quickly on the new MacBooks with the M1 or M2 processors because they have a neural engine chip and it takes advantage of that. So I did make the one-time purchase of $49.99, but I have no affiliation with them, and this is definitely not a game changer, but it's a useful tool for me. Midjourney AI is a tool that I use all the time, and it is one of the best artificial intelligence models for taking text and turning it into images. In fact, if you've watched any of the Curious Future videos, and hit subscribe if you haven't, then you'll see that the overlays, the B-roll that we put on top, is almost always generated with Midjourney. There's also a whole bunch of stylization and parameters you can add to it. You can upload a photo as a base layer and take a photo of yourself and say cyberpunk me, which I do on the regular for some reason. Now, using it is a little bit less straightforward than some of the other tools like Dali or some of the Stable Diffusion implementations, and that's because it's integrated into the Discord ecosystem, so you have to use the chatbot to actually generate. But once you understand it, it's super easy to use, and there's a bunch of tutorials on YouTube about how to kind of like get set up or install it. It's not that hard. Now, Stable Diffusion is an AI model that can generate images from text prompts. It can generate images from scratch, or it can modify existing ones. And it can even change specific parts of an image through something called in-painting and out-painting. And what separates it from some of the other text-to-image models is that it's really easy to run locally and it's completely open source. And the fact that it's open source means that it gets a lot of developer updates. It always feels like there's new little tools that are being plugged into on top of it. It's almost like the base layer of its own platform. Also, with the recent update to Stable Diffusion 2.0, 2.0, a new depth to image model was introduced. And that means it can now understand to some degree when you have an object the depth that it should be in the image. So that means if you upload an image where there's an object that's say like 2 meters away and it was a 24mm lens and you ask for that object to be changed through the Stable Diffusion text prompt, you'll probably get something that still feels relatively similar. Canva's new Magic design will automatically match fonts, images, graphics, and styles to an overall themed using artificial intelligence. And the cool thing about Canva's new implementation is that they're taking multiple AI models, and they're using them in such a way that they can generate a full presentation. So a text model, an image model, and then another model that sits on top of that that can sort of say, here's the right layout for the other two generations. So now you just do one prompt that says, make me this kind of presentation, and then it figures out how to pull the other two things together and put them together in something that works for you. Now, they have implemented a large language model. They didn't announce if it was actually from OpenAI or not, but it seems to be a lot like ChatGPT, and they call it Magic Write. And it's available in 21 languages, which is nice because if you want your love poem to be written in French, no problem. They also announced a cool little AI tool called BeatSync, and it can automatically create a video for you using the song's beat to cycle through different images or video. It's also got some great spelling and grammar tools, which is something I need when I'm spelling words like pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Thanks, Canva. Microsoft Bing and OpenAI's Dali have now been united. So there is a new Bing search engine image creator. So similar to Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, we now have a tool built right into Bing that may be using a more advanced version of Dali to generate whatever images you can imagine and type into the prompt. One cool new thing about the Bing AI generator is you can say you want it in either a precision mode, a balanced mode, or a creative mode. Whereas the more precise mode will actually favor precision and accuracy. Now, because Microsoft has just introduced this tool to so many people, there's a lot of concerns about propaganda or using it incorrectly. In response, they said that they have implemented the same safeguards that OpenAI has been putting into ChatGPT and Dali, so I guess it's the best there is right now. And because you need to be logged in to use it, if you try to generate a prompt that is NSFW, you'll not only get a warning, but you're at risk of having your account removed or blocking access to the tool in the future. So there is a new Bing search engine image creator. Now, alongside this image generator, Microsoft introduced something called Knowledge Cards 2.0. And they're essentially these little stories that come with a photograph, some knowledge that's been printed, or maybe a small video. They're essentially like social media stories with a little bit of information and a photograph, something that kind of ties it all together, maybe even a small video in some cases, which is cool. A knowledge card might be a nice way to just take an answer and kind of put it together so we can sense the visual and the text information all at the same time.